They called themselves prayer warriors. 12 faithful members, 15 years of service, one WhatsApp group. By the time I discovered what they were really doing in that group, our church had split into 3 pieces. My father, our beloved pastor, was packing his bags to leave Lagos forever, and I had learned the hardest lesson of my life, that the enemy doesn't always come from outside. Sometimes they are already inside, praying with their mouths while destroying with their fingers. This is the story of how a WhatsApp group destroyed our church.
Welcome home to Tales from the Baobab, where wisdom lives in stories.
My name is Chioma, and I am a pastor's daughter. Not the rebellious kind you hear about in testimonies. I was the good one. The one who played keyboard for choir rehearsal, who helped mommy cook jollof rice for church programs, who knew everyone's name and everyone's business, though I never shared it. Our church, Solid Rock Assembly, sat on a busy street in Ikeja. Not one of those mega churches with television cameras and satellite branches. We were 400 members strong, a family. My father, Pastor Emmanuel Okafo, had built it from 7 people meeting in our boys' quarters 23 years ago. The 12 people who formed the prayer warriors were the foundation. Sister Blessing, our choir mistress, with a voice like an angel and a memory like a computer. Brother Jude, the accountant who had managed church finances since the beginning. Mama Tunde, the elderly woman who cooked for every church event. Deacon Philip, my father's right-hand man. And 9 others. People who swept the church compound, who arrived early to set up chairs, who prayed for the sick, who gave sacrificially when the church needed money. They were the pillars. It was Sister Blessing who created the WhatsApp group in March 2024. She announced it during a midweek service. We need a dedicated prayer line, she said, her voice carrying that spiritual authority she was famous for. Too many prayer requests get lost in the main church group with all the birthday messages and event flyers. This will be for serious prayer warriors only. Everyone nodded. It made sense. The group was called SRA Prayer Altar. SRA for Solid Rock Assembly. My father blessed the initiative. Mommy even suggested names of faithful members who should be added. I wasn't added. At 24, I was considered too young for the serious prayer group. I wasn't offended. I had my own circle of church friends. The first week, the messages were beautiful. Let's pray for Sister Ada's mother in the hospital. Brother Chidi needs job breakthrough. Praying against the spirit of death troubling our youths. Screenshot prayers, Bible verses, voice notes of group members praying in tongues. It was powerful. Anointed even. My father would mention during Sunday service, the prayer warriors have been interceding and we're seeing results. Sister Ada's mother is recovering. The church celebrated. The prayer warriors felt seen, validated. But something was shifting. By April, I started noticing a coldness at church. Small groups whispering and going silent when others approached. Side eyes during testimony time. An awkwardness that hadn't been there before. I asked Mommy if she noticed. Church is growing, Chioma, she said, stirring stew in our kitchen one Saturday afternoon. When you grow, the enemy attacks. Your father is handling it. But my father looked tired. More tired than usual. And he'd stopped smiling the way he used to. The first crack appeared in me. Sister Rejoice, a young woman who recently joined the church, came to our house one evening. She was crying. They're saying things about me, Ma, she told my mother, that I'm a husband snatcher, that I'm using juju to attract Brother Daniel. Ma, I've barely spoken to Brother Daniel. We're just in the same usher department. Mommy calmed her down, prayed with her, but after she left, I saw my parents exchange a look. This is the 3rd person this month, Daddy said quietly. The second crack came from an unexpected place, my aunt. Aunt Ngozi wasn't part of Solid Rock Assembly. She attended a church in Surulere. But she called my mother one afternoon and I overheard the conversation from my room. Sis, I'm telling you because you are my sister. Someone forwarded me a message from your church group. They are saying your husband is mismanaging church money, that he used building fund to buy the new car you people are driving. The new car was a 2012 Toyota Camry my father had bought after our old car finally died. He'd used his personal savings plus contributions from church members who knew our situation. But someone had twisted the narrative. Mommy was furious. Who sent this? Which group? I don't know. It came from SRA Prayer Altar, but the person who forwarded it removed the group name. I only saw it in the screenshots. That was when my father knew something was deeply wrong. He called a meeting with the prayer warriors that Wednesday. I wasn't there, but Mommy told me what happened. Daddy confronted them gently. I'm hearing that rumors about me and about church members are coming from this prayer group. Can someone explain? Sister Blessing looked genuinely shocked. Pastor, we only share prayer points. If someone is spreading lies, it's not from our group. The others nodded vigorously. Brother Jude even prayed against the spirit of lies and division. My father wanted to believe them. These were people who stood with him through the hardest years, people he trusted like family. But the damage was accelerating.
By June, 3 families had left the church. The youth fellowship attendance had dropped, and I started receiving strange messages from church friends. Chioma, is it true your dad wants to shut down the youth program? Someone said your mom called Sister Blessing a witch during prayer meeting. What happened? None of it was true, but the lies were spreading faster than we could correct them. Then came the incident that changed everything. Sister Adeze was a widow in our church, 43 years old. Her husband had died 2 years ago, and she had been struggling financially while raising 2 teenagers. My father had been counseling her, helping her navigate grief and single parenthood. He'd meet with her in his office after service, with the door open, following every protocol. Mommy sometimes sat in on the sessions. One Sunday in late June, after service, I noticed people staring at Sister Adeze. She looked uncomfortable. She left quickly without her usual pleasantries. She didn't come back the next Sunday or the one after that. When my mother finally reached her on the phone, Sister Adeze was crying. Ma, I can't come back to that church. Everyone is looking at me like I'm a prostitute. They are saying things about me and Pastor. Ma, nothing happened. I swear to God, nothing happened. What things? Who is saying this? It's in a church WhatsApp group, Ma. Someone sent me a screenshot. They said Pastor is having an affair with me. That he's been giving me money for sexual favors. Ma, the money he gave me was from the Widows' Welfare Fund. Other widows got money too, but they are making it sound like... She broke down completely. My mother asked her to forward the screenshot. When I saw it later that evening, my blood ran cold. It was from SRA Prayer Altar.
The screenshot showed a conversation between 3 members of the Prayer Warriors group. The message read, Sister Blessing, we need to pray about this situation with Pastor and Sister Adeze. The meetings are too frequent, too private. Mama Tunde said, I've been observing it too. Something is all right in the spirit. Deacon Philip said, we must pray for our pastor. The enemy is using that woman to bring him down. You know these widows, they can be desperate. My father stared at the screenshot for a long time. They didn't even call me, he finally said. They didn't ask me anything. They just assumed and then prayed about their assumption. But it got worse. Sister Adeze wasn't the only one. As my parents made calls, they discovered the Prayer Warriors group had discussed Brother Femi's struggling business. Maybe he's not paying his tithe. Sister Joy's miscarriage could be generational curse. The youth pastor's new phone, where is he getting money from? We should investigate. My mother's friendship with a new member, she's bringing worldliness into the church. Every prayer concern was actually gossip dressed in spiritual language. And because they framed it as intercession, they felt righteous doing it. The group had become a place where suspicion was called discernment, where assumptions were called revelation, and where tearing people down was called spiritual warfare. I was angry, angrier than I had ever been. Daddy, confront them, show them the evidence, scatter that group. But my father looked broken. Chioma, if I scatter the group, they will say I'm hiding something. They will say I'm silencing the truth. These are people I've loved for 15 years. How did we get here? I didn't have an answer. The church split happened gradually, then suddenly. The prayer warriors began boycotting services. Then they invited other members to a prayer meeting at Sister Blessing's house, where they discussed the state of the church and praying for pastor to be restored. When confronted, they claimed innocence. We're just praying, Pastor. Why are you against prayer? By August, the church was divided into 3 camps. Those who believed my father, those who believed the prayer warriors, and those who are confused and just stopped coming. My father submitted his resignation to the church board in September. I can't shepherd a flock that doesn't trust me. And I can't keep defending myself against phantoms. It's time to go. The board begged him to stay, but the damage was done. That's when I did something I'm not entirely proud of, but I'll do it again. I created a fake phone number, got a new SIM card, and I convinced a friend who was still neutral in the church war to add me to the Prayer Warriors group as a consigned new member. What I found in that group's chat history made me physically sick. For 3 days, I read. I scrolled back months. I saw how it started innocently, real prayer requests, genuine concern. But then I saw the shift. One person would share a concern, others would add their observations, assumptions would become facts, facts would become prayer points. Praying for pastor because I heard became pastor needs deliverance from, Sister Ade seemed troubled, let's pray, became Sister Ade is definitely insane, we need to fast for her. And the worst part, they screenshot their own gossip and sent it out as things to pray about without context, making it look like confirmed information. They had destroyed people's reputations, marriages, and mental health while saying amen and God bless you. I compiled everything, every lie, every distortion, every malicious assumption. That Sunday, the last Sunday my father was scheduled to preach before his resignation became official, I did something unprecedented. During announcement time, I walked to the front. Before Daddy preaches, I said, my voice shaking but clear, I need to say something. The church went silent. My father looked confused. My mother half stood from her seat. We are tearing apart. Families are broken. People have left. My father is resigning. And we keep asking why. How did we get here? I pulled out my phone. I know how. I have been in the Prayer Warriors group for the past week, under a different number, and I have read everything. Sister Blessing's face went white. I have read how you called Sister Desert desperate, how you accused my father without ever talking to him, how you discussed people's private struggles and called it prayer, how you screenshot conversations and sent them out without context. I was crying now, but I kept going. You didn't destroy this church with worldliness or sin. You destroyed it with self-righteousness, with gossip wearing a prayer shawl, with judgment disguised as spiritual concern. Deacon Philip stood up. Sister Chioma, this is disrespectful. No, sir. What's disrespectful is what you did to Sister Adeze, to Brother Femi, to my parents while pretending to pray. I looked at the congregation. My father taught me that the church is a hospital for sinners, not a museum for saints. But the prayer warriors turned it into a courtroom where they were judge, jury, and executioner. And they executed people with prayer points. The silence was deafening. Then something unexpected happened. Brother Femi stood up. The man whose business struggles had been discussed in the group. He's right, he said. I stopped coming because I heard people were saying my business failed because I didn't pay tithe. I paid my tithe every month. I just hit hard times, and instead of supporting me, you investigated me. Then Sister Joy, the one who'd miscarried, I lost my baby and heard people were saying it was a curse. Do you know what that did to me? I was suicidal. I thought God was punishing me. One by one, people stood up, sharing their pain, their confusion, the rumors they'd heard about themselves. The prayer warriors sat in silence. Some were crying. Sister Blessing had her face in her hands. Finally, Mama Tunde stood up, trembling. We were wrong, she whispered. God forgive us. We were so wrong. My father didn't preach that day. He couldn't. Instead, he called the prayer warriors to the front. Then he called everyone who'd been hurt by the gossip. Then he called the whole church forward. We are all standing at the foot of the cross today, he said. None of us perfect, all of us needing grace. What happened next took 3 hours. People confessed, people forgave, people wept. Some of the prayer warriors apologized directly to those they'd hurt. Others couldn't speak, but you could see the genuine remorse. Sister Blessing deleted the group that evening, but the damage took longer to heal. My father didn't resign. The church board asked him to stay, and after much prayer, he agreed. But he made changes. No more exclusive groups with access to private information. All leadership communications would be transparent. Church discipline would follow clear biblical protocols with proper confrontation and witnesses, not assumptions shared in group chats. Most importantly, they started a sermon series on the ministry of words, how our tongues and now our fingers can build up or destroy. Some of the prayer warriors stayed, others left quietly. The church didn't return to its old size immediately. Trust takes longer to build than to break. But slowly, people started coming back. Sister Adayaze returned after 2 months. Brother Femi's business eventually recovered and he became one of the church's biggest givers. And the prayer warriors who stayed, they learned the difference between intercession and intrusion, between spiritual concern and spiritual gossip. As for me, I learned something crucial, that good intentions are not enough, that spiritual language can be weaponized, that accountability matters, even especially in prayer. The Proverbs say, death and life are in the power of the tongue. In 2024, we learned they are also in the power of our thumbs. 3 years later, Solid Rock Assembly is still standing, smaller than it was, but healthier. The new prayer ministry meets in person, face to face, with open hearts and open accountability. My father still pastors, my mother still serves, and I now lead the youth ministry where we teach young people about digital discipleship and the weight of their words online. This is Chioma Okofo, and this is my story, a cautionary tale from modern Nigeria, where the line between prayer and gossip became so blurred that we nearly lost everything trying to save it. Here's a challenge for you. For the next 7 days, I want you to follow these 3 before you send rules in all your group chats. 1. Is it true? Not what you heard, not what you think, what you know. 2. Is it helpful? Does this message build up or tear down? Does it solve a problem or create one? 3. Is it your place? Should you be sharing this or should you be praying about it privately? If your message fails even one of these tests, delete it. Pray about it instead. Actually pray, not prayer that's really gossip. If this story moved you, don't just hit like and scroll away. Share it with your church group. Yes, that church group. Tag that person who needs to see this. Send it to your pastor, your small group leader, your prayer team. Because the best way to honor Sister Adeze's pain and celebrate her healing is to make sure it doesn't happen to someone else. We'll be here every week under the Baobab tree, telling the stories that matter, the ones that make us uncomfortable, make us think, and hopefully make us better. Oh, and one more thing. Check your WhatsApp groups right now. Not later, right now. You might be surprised what you find. Subscribe to Tales from the Baobab for more stories that challenge, heal, and transform. From all of us at Tales from the Baobab, may your words bring life, not death. May your groups be places of genuine love, not hidden judgment.